Okay, let's go, kids. Hello, and welcome to the RuCap with your host, me, Alex Ringler. After a long hiatus, 5 weeks, my goodness. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you guys for keeping it going without me. Thank you to Aaliyah and for Christopher for hosting. You guys were fantastic. Well, let's go around and say where you're from. I'm calling in from Hilton Head, South Carolina, where I'm working on a show right now, which is why I've been indisposed, as it were. But I'm glad to be back. Let's go around, say who you are, where you're calling in from, and I don't know. The last time you had a fantastic dessert. Andrew.
So my name is Andrew Lignelli. I am the Director of Development for the International Drag Queen Database, VQDB. I'm calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada. And last time I had a good dessert, I had a donut yesterday with lunch. I don't know if that counts.
I'll allow it. Michael, down there.
Hi, I'm Michael Barbieri, dining and entertainment writer and creator of the Dragtastic column. And calling in from gray, dreary, sort of gray, dreary New York at the moment. And last time I had a fantastic dessert, I would say, was last night. Vincent ordered insomnia cookies.
I love those. Oh, I love them. All right, and is that Walter I see over there?
Well, yes, it is the dreaded and feared Walter Kurtz coming to you live from Donkey Mere, home of the Chandelier. I don't remember having a great dessert. I'm sure I had one at some point, but I don't know. And for sake of time, I have no idea. Next.
You seem like more of a salty tooth than a sweet tooth. I will say that. Russ.
Hi, I'm Russ White, co-founder, co-producer of Q Life Media and the International Drag Queen Database, calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada, live from Sake Rock on the Las Vegas Strip. My last good dessert was, I think, about 3 weeks ago at the opening of a new restaurant at the Strat.
Okay, you could get a dessert now where you are. You could have it on air with us if you want.
Ooh, the honey toast here is to die for.
That's brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it's so good.
And last but not least, Mr. Garrett. Hi.
Hey everyone, calling in and also from Sake Rock. You might ask, why are we so dressed up? Speaking at Lexicon social media convention here. And I mean, dessert can be defined so many ways, but I'd like to think that my husband was the last piece of dessert I got.
Oh Lord, I wasn't talking about that.
But she's a little salty.
Well, speaking of desserts, transitions are hard. Silky nutmeg ganache, ladies and gentlemen. At the start of the episode this week, it seemed like she was humbled a little bit by Ru's, meh from the last week's lip sync, which I think we were all a little like, oh, gross. Like, anyway. It seemed like she was humbled. Do we think she was kind of going for a redemption in a way with all of her I feel so blessed and forgiveness and God and stuff like that? What do we think she was going for, if anything? Let's start with Walter with this one, please.
She was going for screen time.
As always.
It was about as sincere as pick your analogy. Yeah, she just wanted screen time.
That seems to be like her MO. Like,
you
that's
think?
Why even given what happened this week, I kind of understand why what happened. But as far as I can tell, especially with things I've seen on the internet of Miss Silky Ganache, which I actually linked to our group earlier in the week, she just does not seem like a put together queen. She doesn't seem professional. She doesn't seem like anything that should be top 4 to me. I understand why she got there and how she got there. But then let me expand the question. Do we think there's anything genuine about Miss?
I think it's genuine. Did she bring it up when she brought it up for the screen time? Sure. But I've spoken to Silky in person before. I truly do think she is a decent person. Whether she's a put together, polished queen, maybe not. But I think she had that thought in her head. Like, she realized, you know what? I've been kind of a bitch. I've been kind of mean. Let me kind of backtrack a little, watch a lot of time, because it was last episode. And I will stand by her as a person. I do think she's a good person. Is she the best queen on the season? No.
Well, I think that's they called her out, or someone called her out, being like, well, you've been asking to lip sync now from the get-go, and this is what you gave, and so blah. I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. I think she's a little bit of a dummy, but other than that, like she's just I don't see her as top 4. Like considering what has come before her top 4, I'm like, I understand how you got there. Still don't agree with it. Michael, do you have an opinion on this?
I think that she realizes that her time on the show is coming to an end, and now she's going to have to deal with her public in person. And she can't be a rude, loud, obnoxious queen.
She can't be a Vixen. We all saw the line that did not exist at Vixen's booth at any DragCon ever. So.
She's painted herself into the corner as a villain, and now she's trying to paint her way out.
Yeah. And, you know, they're giving her that screen time and they're giving her that edit, not to blame the editing, but they're giving her that edit to get that redemption a little bit. So is it working to her advantage? Obviously, because she made top 4. Again, still not my favorite. Not a lot of people's favorite from what I've, you know, sussed out from other people who watch the show. But moving right along, we get the Contribute Lyrics Challenge and also the Dance Challenge all in one this week, which everyone knew was coming. And I will say everyone pretty much had really well thought out and put together lyrics from what I could hear. Well executed, maybe not. Well lip-synced, maybe not. But also, then we get to the dance challenge, and then we get another queen, and we've said this before on this show, being like, well, Akira is not a dancer, and I don't do that. And it's like, well...
have you never watched the show?
But that's the thing. They all came prepared to make these lyrics, but when it comes to dancing, it seems like sometimes people have a block in their mind being like, I don't do this. So is that a valid excuse, or were they just setting her up for a redemption in the challenge? Russ, what do you think about that? Can't hear you, darling.
Because I'm still thinking about the question.
Oh, okay. I thought you did.
I don't know. I think this challenge was just, I know it's coming. It's just a weird challenge to me because so much of the show was just hemming and hawing about writing the lyrics. So I don't know if it's a redemption or not. It's just a weird challenge. I think she did a great job. I liked her outfit. I thought she was one of the best outfits.
Oh, completely.
It was very Queen of the Night. But some of these challenges are just getting weak.
Okay. But this is a challenge that happens every year, basically. They end up doing basically a music video for RuPaul. Does the excuse of I don't dance hold water anymore?
No.
What do you think, Garrett?
In this challenge this week, I thought it was really, there were some that had movement, but when you look at, like, some of the people didn't, like, actually have the camera following them along. So it was just, like, stationary, like Brooklyn. She was just in the strip club the whole time. She was moving, but the camera wasn't moving with her. And I thought that was a mistake. But I do like the confidence and the lyrics that had, like, I'm a bad bitch type of attitude that came along with them. The ones that really stood out for me in the challenge, Brooklyn and Akira. And I actually think that Silky redeemed herself from last week's dance challenge. I thought it was funny, like, how she was, like, pushing people out of the way, and then, like, even did the drop and then got picked right back up again. So I thought it was good to actually see her do a really good performance compared to last week's dance.
I might disagree on you there with Silky, just because where the other girls I think had to, like, kind of be spot on with their choreography, Silky seemed to just be messy Silky like she normally is, which they kind of gave a pass over, being like, well, she's just funny and I love Silky. She landed on her back and showed us her underwear, and it was not graceful whatsoever. She was knocking people out of the way, and I think that was for a comedic purpose. But whereas other people had that spot on choreography, they just kind of let her be kind of a bit of a mess. While she was doing very well in the rehearsals, and I was very surprised. I was like, oh, you can actually pull this dance off. They didn't make her do it in a way. So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there, but agree to disagree, Mr. Garrett. Walter, what did you think of the challenge? And is I'm not a dancer still a valid excuse at this point?
Well, I think that I'm not a dancer is an issue of semantics, because I think what she's saying is I'm not a dancer, which is different from I can't dance. And I think her way of saying I can't dance means I'm not a dancer. Because clearly she can dance, clearly she can move, and all of that, but she's not a dancer. In her mind, she equates that with dancing.
Do you think she equates that to being able to pick up choreography easily?
Yeah, I think she thinks of people who are professional trained dancers who
Okay.
can look at choreography and pick it up, and she's saying, I can't dance.
Yeah.
So, because clearly she can dance.
Yeah.
It's she's not Kim Chi, who cannot dance. Yeah. So, as for the challenge, I mean, I just, here I go being cranky. I've just got an overall feeling about the entire episode, which is it's the same episode we've seen season after season after season after season. And I'm just tired of it. And as a matter of fact, during the whole recording of the rap thing and doing Rue's podcast, I had it on mute and I was watching Willem rag on that makeup queen and all that, because it's just like, I don't want to listen to all of this nonsense. We've heard it before. Some people aren't going to rap well. Some people aren't going to dance well. Can we just get on with it? So yeah. I'm over it in general.
Yeah, just get me to the runway.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
And also, but that's the thing, is like good TV will give you what you're expecting, but then keep you guessing. And I think you're right, Walter. This episode didn't have us guessing whatsoever. It's like, it was the same formula that we've seen in both All Stars and last year in
and the year before.
And the year before. So and I think they're learning that now, getting into like over 10 years of doing this show. Oh shit, this is boring now. We need to switch it up a little bit.
And watching someone write lyrics is not entertaining.
Exactly. There needs to be something different. I completely agree. But speaking of something different, we get to the runway, and I thought they were all pretty good, except I was like, Vanjie, why can I see your bra? And I'm very surprised they did not harp on her for that. I will say that. But in the critiques, they were praising Evie Oddly for kind of sticking to her drag and then, like, I guess elevating it or bringing another dimension to it. And yet they kind of got on Brooklyn for kind of giving consistent looks every week and being in her own drag. So that was kind of a disconnect for me of why they would praise one person for something and kind of chastise another for the exact same thing. Andrew, did you have any opinion about that, or any of the runways in particular?
Yeah, so I don't think they necessarily did that though, because they told Evie, you stuck to your drag, and sometimes it flopped and sometimes it did well, but when it did well, it was amazing. So it wasn't necessarily a good job. It was a good job for keeping to yourself, but they acknowledged that it doesn't always work. Like sometimes it landed you in the bottom, like Snatch Game. And even last week, even though I liked her denim look that she did for the makeover challenge, they didn't like it very much. But when it works, like last night's runway with the threes, 3 eyes, 3 boobs, 3 butts, was amazing. It was one of my favorite final runway looks of any queen in any season. So I understand where they're coming from with that. When it works, it works. Whereas Brooklyn's almost always works, but then it kind of gets boring after a while. Okay, that's what we expect. We're not wowed by anything. We're still wowed by Evie, even if it doesn't work. We're not really. We kind of are wowed by Brooklyn because she's amazing, but you know what I'm saying. But in terms of runway looks, I agree. Vanjie just didn't quite cut it for me. Like, she was beautiful, but something was just missing. It didn't look quite complete yet. I don't know if she needed maybe a necklace or some more jewelry or something, but it didn't work.
She was a boy in the dress.
I was like, yeah, absolutely not. Michael, what do you think about that? The runway or the critiques on the runway?
Well, I think in terms of Brooklyn, I think one of the reasons they thought her drag was rather run-of-the-mill compared to Evie is just simply because she was in all white, and it's a little boring.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also know what she was giving. Like, she was giving you, Swan Lake. She was giving you Giselle. She's giving you her background as a dancer, which is probably why she was like, "This is my best drag. This is what I represent." And
I happen to like it. I thought it was a great look.
But I kind of agree, being like, I don't know if that's her best drag. I mean, I know they want more edge out of her, but if what she views herself as is not an edgy queen, but like a beauty queen, then she was giving what she wanted to show. And I can't fault her for that, but they certainly did. Walter, what do you think of the runway?
To continue with Brooklyn's, I thought it was too literal. Hi, I'm going to come out as a ballerina.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was no twist on it. And I agree with Michael. It was tonally dull. It was just sort of like white. And I thought the proportion of the tutu was completely wrong. It should have been larger, and it just kind of drooped. I thought it was a real fail. I thought it was a fail. I thought Evie's was great.
Evie was great.
I did not care for Vanjie's. I don't think that was her bra. I think that was some sort of extra look of thing. But one thing that struck me when I was looking at Vanjie last night was, has she ever come out with boobs? I don't think she's ever come out with boobs. She's always flat-chested.
Yeah. Which,
just
okay,
always,
if that's your look, great. But then why have
but it's like, but never come out with any type of shape on top. She's always flat-chested. So Evie was great. Akaria looked great. Akaria was Akaria. And I'm forgetting. Oh, and Silky, I don't remember what that dress. Yeah, she looked nice in the dress.
It was the nude illusion.
But she's done that silhouette many times.
Same silhouette.
Who's Silky?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but there's not much you can do when you just kind of have one particular type of shape. You're not plastique where you can do all of these amazing things. And she did cinch it in for a change.
Jesus.
So
and padding wasn't messy this week either.
Couldn't see it. It could very well be messy under that dress.
Might have been.
I will say.
So also, yes.
Sorry, with Brooke, the one critique she had was that she's always too poised and too put together and too not fighting to get into the Final Four, but asking politely. And if that's the one critique you have, when you come out, even when she's standing on the stage, she's standing in a traditional ballet pose. She's
standing B+. It's called B+.
Yep.
I don't know. It just, if the judges want you to loosen up and have a little bit of fray on the side, do it. That's it. That's all I have about that.
No, I get that. And I agree completely. And it was an interesting choice to come out. I think she was representing herself, but I think she touched on this in the challenge too, when they were asking her, or was it in the critiques where it's like, I try to be, it's the ballet mentality of perfection, as opposed to letting go and just having fun. So it's harder to cross that when you come from such a strict background. So, Russ, what do you think of the runway this week?
I think there were, who's the one that had the blue dress? Was that Evie?
Akaria.
Oh, Akaria. I think that was a spectacular dress. And that she actually created that was it with her boyfriend?
Yeah.
It was just a remarkable craftsmanship. Bjork does a better ballerina outfit. Brooklyn could have done something a little more creative than just a standard ballerina outfit. Silky's dress, Akira's, was beautiful. Evie's, I think, was brilliant.
Evie's was brilliant. Yeah,
when she came down the runway, I was like, did she do 3 boobs? Oh my God, she did 3 boobs. That was brilliant.
And 3 butt cheeks. Not a lot of people got that. I was like, 3 butt cheeks.
How many people want to do 3 butt cheeks either?
And 3 tucks, from what I hear.
Just 3 for each of her penises. It was great. All right, so we get Brooklyn and Vanjie in the bottom. It was we were kind of all wanting to see this lip sync just because they've gotten so close over the season. And they gave it to us. Do we think Vanjie faltered in the challenge, or do we think it was just her time to go? I mean, she's been in the bottom quite a lot, and they've given her a lot of chances, and she, as well as she did, I feel like she just didn't really step her pussy up. I would have liked to see her in Final Four over Silky, definitely, but this week proved that the judges were just on Silky's side. So what did we think of the lip sync? What do we think of Miss Vanjie no longer being with us? Let's start with Michael.
I think it's a little of both. I think it was her time, but I think she was a little bit weak in the challenge, in the same way that we've been saying it for a long time. They're going to lip sync against each other. They're going to do it. And watching the video, and I've watched it twice, Vanjie and Brooklyn were the 2 weakest. And I was like, okay, there we go. They're going to lip sync.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it just, based on the critiques, which I think were accurate, as opposed to I would have, read Silky a little more just for being kind of a little messy, which if you've seen that video online, which I shared with our panel, oh god, she a mess when she tries to lip sync. But anyway,
Also,
that's my own personal opinion, and it didn't have to do with the challenge, so I understand. Andrew,
Well-
what did you think of lip sync and Vanjie and all that business?
It was her time.
Yeah.
If Vanjie was in the top 4, what more could she have given us that she hasn't given us already? I
That's
don't
true.
think much. And if you go back, she always just kind of crumbles under the pressure. She's great off the cuff naturally. When the pressure's on, the spotlight's on, she doesn't do as well.
Well, no, she proved that in her exiting, bit, which was hilarious and so fun and exactly Vanjie. So I thought that was kind of her being like, okay, bitches, like I loved it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walter, what did you think?
Yeah, it was the correct final 2. Vanjie did not do as well. However, I think there's trouble ahead in the finale for Brooke in that I was hoping she would do something other than just stay on point the entire time. It was like, okay, you've done point. Now what are you going to do to surprise us?
Yeah.
There was no surprise in it.
I was waiting for like her to go like far upstage and just stomp down the runway on point, or even Vanjie to do that. None of them utilized the center runway in that challenge. Yeah. I could have gotten a leap out of her. I could have gotten anything, but all she was doing was just marching around on point. It was a
one-note performance, and I think that's trouble for her in the finale.
Same. I think I think at this point it's probably it's Evie's crown to lose at this point. But we'll get into that. Russ, what did you think of Vanjie and lip sync and all that business?
I watched Untucked, and it was interesting watching Untucked because they both knew that they were going to be up against each other.
Pretty clear.
What I'm most interested in seeing is how far this relationship goes, because it could be wrought with the haters. I think in a perfect world, they end up touring together, and this allows their relationship to blossom because they seem to be there for each other in Untucked, and it wasn't me against her. It was a whatever the right. It's an us against the world. So I'm hoping that whatever the outcome is, that this relationship just blossoms because of this experience, and that the haters don't break them up.
I hope they just break up, but that's just me.
I just saw a photo that they posted that together. I was going to say, I didn't hear any messaging in their relationship. Well, first of all, if there was going to be the drama of two people dancing against each other because Silky and Evie made up, it wasn't dramatic anymore, and the only thing to do that could be dramatic from the producer standpoint was those two dancing against each other.
Completely.
But I didn't really hear them say that they were going to be happy for the other one if they won. It was about like, I'm going to do my best. If I win, I win. It's nothing. If the other one wins, I'm going to be happy for them. I didn't hear any of that type of dialogue.
True. I will say, I think Vanjie was a little more concerned against Brooklyn than Brooklyn was against Vanjie. She was like, I didn't want to sing against anyone, or I would have sang against anyone other than him. And Brooklyn was like, I don't care. I have to turn it. And I was like, well. And Vanjie got there eventually, but yeah, I think we all agree it was kind of just her time. I'm glad she had a second after season 10, just because she's such a personality and very, very fun, and maybe a star, possibly. I mean, that's 3 doses of Angela situation. I wouldn't mind it. I understand if we shied away from. We have our top 4. My goodness, I can't wait to see the finale. It's happening in 2 weeks, right when I'm done with this contract, which is going to be amazing. Like I said, I think it's Evie's to lose at this point. I wanted it to be Brooke because she's and she's a New York girl, but yeah, just the way it's kind of being set up, it seems like Evie to me. What do we all think?
It's Evie's to lose.
Walter.
And I would point out, I picked her on day 1. Thank you.
Sure did.
I mean, because she fills the bill that I always say. You have to have a point. She walked in with point for the whole time.
And at this point, I think Brooke's kind of just flatlining at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to have a career. She's first rate.
She's talented.
I'm going to get from Brooklyn in a show. You know, Evie, it's going to be something strange.
Totally, and it's kind of like it'd be almost electing another Violet or an Aquaria, where it's like pretty, but
yeah. I mean, Evie's going to be like Sharon Needles, but without the Satanism.
or with, we don't know. Andrew, what do you think?
Better
I'm
is the
gonna
bet.
Dean, since we were at the finale and we
What's
know
that?
exactly what happens.
Oh.
Garrett and I were there, so we'll
All right.
see you in
Okay,
2
then
weeks.
we're not going to give any inside information.
Nope,
until
no
after
spoilers
the-
here.
Tell me. But Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, Evie. I think
Evie-
she's
Evie
the
for the
most
win.
interesting of the
Mhm.
bunch, and in a weird way to me, she seems a combination of Sharon Needles and Sasha Velour. So
Okay.
Yeah.
that's 2 winners right there, and I think she's
Totally.
got it.
I agree with that. Russ, what do you think?
I'm Team Brooklyn.
Still Team Brooklyn, holding strong.
Go vote.
I wouldn't mind as the queen. I honestly wouldn't, but it seems like they're steering it Evie's way. Garrett, and you have
so I
insider
can't
information
speak
as
to
well,
it,
right? So
Other
you don't.
than just that I wish all
It's
of
going
them
to
the
be an
best of
exciting
luck,
finale.
and
We'll say that.
go vote.
Go vote. Yeah.
I think, go vote. I think they do take into account the hashtags. And so, with that being said, wish them all the best of luck. And it's a good season overall.
Hey. All right, kids. Well, what we have the reunion next week. Yes, is that correct? Which is
Yep.
always fun. We get some dish that we didn't get before and some behind the scenes business. So I can't wait to watch it. And then I can't wait for the finale in 2 weeks. I honestly, not my favorite season that I've witnessed, but I think this top 4 is going to give us a show for the finale. So I am very excited to see it. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Drag Queen Database and Q Life Media and the RuCap with me, Alex Ringler, back after a long hiatus. Thanks again to Aaliyah Sky and to Christopher Henry for filling in my absence. Until next week, Kiddlywinks.
Bye. Appalachia.
Appalachia.